Good afternoon, guys. It is February 4th, around 1:30 in the afternoon here on the East Coast. So, today's vlog is going to be about diet. I got a lot of questions after, just mentioning the diet that I was on from a couple of people that um, I recommended the vlogs to. So, just want to start it off by saying that the diet that I am on is intermittent fasting diet. You can look that up and see, a lot more, do your own fair share of research. But for myself, it is pretty much two meals spaced out 8 hours apart during the day. So, like I said, for myself, I eat my first meal right around 12 o'clock every day, and it could still be breakfast. So you're not missing out. If you're a big breakfast person like I am, then you can still focus on eating breakfast at 12 o'clock, or do like a brunch, where you can have a mixture of breakfast and lunch. And then roughly 8 hours later at 8 o'clock, I tend to do dinner. And that will be, whatever you want to eat for that evening. I'm not too confined by what exactly I'm eating, and I'm not a big fan of vegetables. So I do supplement that by taking some stuff that I'm going to get into here shortly. But I did want to clarify the diet is, for me, it's at 12 and 8. But if you want to do it, you can adjust it so long as they're 8 hours apart. So you can do 1 and 9, 2 and 10. One of the guys that they kind of put me onto the intermittent fasting, he does a 2 and 10 because he finds himself eating later in the evening when he's hanging out with friends. So, and he's a natural bodybuilder, if you will, or some guy who's in excellent shape. And he's been doing this for quite some time, and I didn't realize, the intermittent fasting diet really doesn't get a lot of publicity, like I have said before. And I was, wondering why. It seems simple, and for me, it is very fitting for my lifestyle at the moment. Um, and then the other thing I want to reiterate is that I don't eat the next day until 12 o'clock. So my meal times for me are like at 12 and 8. So 12 noon, 8 o'clock, give or take some time. So if I end up eating a little bit later, like at 1 o'clock, then I'll make sure to eat my dinner at 9 o'clock. Or if I eat a little bit earlier at 11, then I'll make sure to eat my dinner at 7 o'clock. But that's pretty much it. I won't eat until the next day at 12 o'clock. So those are my meal times, are at 12 and 8. And like I said, I haven't really adjusted my diet so much, so I'm still pretty much eating the same things I did before. Uh, and then in the beginning, I was loading up a lot because, psychology plays in a little bit on it, and you're like, oh, am I going to be hungry, or excuse me, or am I going to lose out on, energy, or this and that? You start to, overthink it, and I would eat a little bit more in the beginning. And, eventually I got used to the times of eating in between, and I didn't sacrifice anything. Um, so, and my meals started getting a little bit smaller because I noticed like my hunger would diminish a little bit, and also I noticed like I'd get fuller faster, which is a great thing because then you can't necessarily eat as much. So, for me, I've been on it for I believe a couple months now, and it has been working for me. And for me, the proof is in the numbers. I started off, I think, at 203 pounds, and I think I'm down to 193 or 194. I've kind of hit a plateau marker here, but um, I'm going to be working on that. I think I got to reduce some other things out of my life, like some soda and maybe some other things that if I were to take out, alcohol is a big killer too. I don't drink alcohol every day, but when I do, I know that it's not helping my diet whatsoever. It's one of the biggest diet killers that I know of. But I've known people to get off alcohol and let's say soda, and that breaks through that plateau that you're trying to get to eventually get to your goal weight. Um, but I did want to mention the supplements. I'm not going to get into the name brands. I'm just going to tell you kind of what they are. So in the morning, like I said, I don't necessarily eat anything, but I do take a scoop of BCAAs, which are branched chain amino acids, and that's just to help the protein, pretty much the protein synthesis, begin for the day and kind of get everything in motion. And I do that every day. When I was a little low in energy, I found BCAAs with energy, and you can take them almost as a pre-workout. I was doing that for the longest time, was taking the BCAAs with as my pre-workout, and then when I was trying to gain weight, I would do creatine during the workout. Creatine has a bunch of studies and a lot of good stuff that has come out of it. Since I'm trying to cut weight now, though, I've taken creatine out since it's essentially helps hold water a little bit more. So I would say if you're trying to bulk up, creatine is definitely an essential part of your diet. Branched chain amino acids would always be an essential part of your diet, and I've started doing that probably within the last year or so, the BCAAs. And I just noticed that things move a little bit more fluidly for me. So um, things just are a little bit better for me when I'm taking my branched chain amino acids. And if you find one with energy, then it's just that much better to get your day started more. It's like I don't do coffee in the morning, so that is my coffee equivalent, so to speak. And that worked well for me for a while. And then currently I'm on BCAAs without energy because I take vitamins and other things that supply me the energy, and I just didn't want an abundance of energy because then you start to get a little shaky and maybe a little unfocused, that were some of the effects that I were having. The other things that I take, like I said, I don't eat vegetables, so I take multivitamins, and then I take this vitamin D concentrate, and I up the dosage in the winter when I notice that I'm not getting as much sun as I would in the summer. So I take about 10,000 IUs a day. Now that may seem like a lot, but there's been a ton of research done, and you can do some on your own about vitamin D and the deficiency among the general population. Even if doctors tell you that you are sufficient in vitamin D, a majority of the time they're using very low levels to detect that. So I've done it in the past, the vitamin D supplementation, and then I tend to do it in the winter a lot more. In the summer, I may take 5,000 IUs a day just so I'm not overloading, but in the winter, I tend to take around 10,000 IUs, and that seems to work with me. And the vitamin D does a lot of great things for you, and helps with inflammation for a lot of people who do have the inflammation issues. So in addition to that, I take some glucosamine for my joints. It just for me helps keep things a little bit more fluid and helps my joints not to hurt as much. I notice that if I'm off of it, like every now and then I'll get off of things for a little while just to make sure that my body's being cleansed properly. And when I'm off of it, I notice my joints start to hurt a little bit. So I make sure to take that as a daily part of my regimen as well. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up is the fish oil. I take roughly, it's like 2 capsules of fish oil every day. And I noticed something, it's an essential fat, and I don't necessarily eat fish all the time, and there's a lot of great nutrients in fish. So since I can't do that, I supplement with fish oil, and it has the omegas in there that are sometimes essential part of your diet depending on the person. But as I was researching some stuff for my wife, um, like prenatal vitamins and vitamins in general, I noticed that a big difference between the prenatal vitamins and the regular vitamins was the fish oil was added in the prenatal vitamins, which I thought was a huge benefit. Now, I'm a guy and I take the fish oils, but I found it intriguing that they would add the fish oil in a prenatal and not the multivitamin. I take my fish oil separately for my multivitamin because I haven't been able to find one that has it. And I don't necessarily want to take a woman's prenatal to get that. So I'll take a more concentrated form and, be on my way. But I did find that interesting, and it did, click to me that it probably is, very essential, especially for a woman, going through that stage in her life, to be on prenatals and to make sure that they're getting the right amount of fish oil. So to me, it can't be a bad thing to, be taking fish oil on a daily basis. It's also an essential fatty acid that would help, promote good health, and a lot of it's got a lot of other benefits as well. So I do take that as well in addition to the other things that I mentioned. And that's pretty much my daily regimen of supplements and BCAAs and things of that nature. Couple caveats I want to add on to this is the diet that I'm doing is to lose weight or to remain lean. It is not for people trying to bulk up. And if you are a snacker, like you like to eat small meals a day, you like to eat in between meals, like healthy stuff, like, they always tell you nuts or almonds or, little healthy, maybe some vegetable sticks, or carrots, the healthy type of snackers. This diet may not be for you as well because your metabolism is going to be on a different level than, let's say, mine is. And it just doesn't work because you guys, snackers are used to eating so often, and they build up a good regimen about it, and they kickstart, their metabolism's a little bit different, but they end up not having the same benefits when it comes to trying to lose the weight. They end up having more effectiveness out of eating smaller meals a day, if you are that type of person. But I just wanted to add those two things. It is not for people trying to bulk up, and it is not for the snacking type of people who like to eat in between meals, because it takes a little bit of discipline in the beginning to get used to the 2 meals a day. But I promise you, as time goes along, it almost becomes normal, and like I've mentioned in the past, it's a little bit more manageable for me. I noticed myself not having a plan so much for meals. I just kind of go with the flow. And you try to make healthy decisions along the way. Obviously, if you eat healthier than you would have before and you're doing the intermittent fasting, you're going to lose weight really quickly. For me, I'm a big proponent of eating a lot of proteins throughout my meals. So I don't necessarily supplement with protein either. If I do a protein shake, I do have protein in the house, but if I do a protein shake, it's because I'm not going to eat a meal for that time. And it's typically when I'm in a rush. I just have no time to eat. I know I need to eat something because I just worked out or it's my meal time, and I just don't have the time to put into, let's say, making a meal or going to grab something to eat, and I will eat a protein shake. But I don't supplement protein on top of my meals because I'm not trying to bulk up. For a person who is trying to bulk up, you may want to and try it out to see how it affects you. But for myself, it's not necessary. I have done it in the past, and it has worked for me when I've been trying to gain weight, but it's not something that I'm currently trying to do. I'm trying to, get down to 185 pounds. So I got roughly, 8 or 9 pounds left to lose to get to that goal weight, which I plan to hit in March, or at least sometime before the summertime would be the ideal goal for me. My goal for this month is 190. Pretty close to being there. It just takes a little bit more discipline. A couple of the other things that I've been mentioned along the way is you have to drink plenty of water. I'm not a big fan of water, but it is something that I would do from time to time. I was told from a bodybuilder friend of mine who was placed, he drinks a gallon of distilled water every day. And he does that versus like mineral water or any other water because there's nothing attached to the distilled water, and he uses it as like a cleansing type of supplement, if you will, to get everything out for that day. And he does this on a daily basis, a gallon of distilled water, in order to kind of cleanse himself. And I did notice frequent urination with that in the beginning, and then I did have some headaches because your body's adjusting, especially for a person like myself who wasn't a big fan of water. I would always drink other things like Gatorade or tea, just never been a big fan of water. But when I did it for a certain amount of time, I did feel better, like energized, like hydrated. I can't explain it. The best comparison I can give to is when I was in the military and we had to start IVs on each other, and I got an IV inserted into my arm. I actually felt better, and I couldn't explain it. It was just like almost like a burst of energy, and it was just, saline, and it was nothing out of the ordinary. But I realized why at that moment that they carry saline bags with them. Emergency medical people carry saline bags with them. It just really hydrates you rather quickly. Um, but that's the feeling I get when I was hydrating properly with a gallon of distilled water a day. And the taste can be a little unique at times, but something to adjust to, but it's not something so terrible. And I would say, at least a gallon was a little excessive for myself, and I found myself holding a lot of water weight when I was doing that. But you guys can cut it back and taper it off to what you see fit. Um, and go from there. If you can handle a gallon of water a day, then you can, and if not, you can build up to it. But I did notice when I was doing it that I was very thirsty sometimes whenever I wasn't drinking my water, and I would almost like look forward to it, if that makes sense. The other questions I got about the diet was if it makes me tired in between meals and if there was enough macros and micros in the diet. I believe for myself, and that's all I can speak on is my experience for myself, is that it was very, I didn't lack any energy. Again, I would do things to counteract that in a way. I've always been on multivitamins because I know I don't eat the best diet. So my vitamins have B vitamins, which give you energy. And then if I was low on energy, I would get branched chain amino acids with some sort of energy in it. Even the one that I'm on now that doesn't have any energy supplies me a little bit of energy because of the other additives that are in it, like CLA. You guys would have to look that up. I forget what the acronym means, but it does supply me some energy. So I never had low energy after the diet. I noticed that if I ate poorly and wasn't supplementing right, that's when I had energy. Even if I was eating 3 meals or 5 small meals a day, if they weren't, proper meals, then yeah, low energy would be a factor for me then. But with the intermittent fasting, I don't find low energy for myself. And then getting the right amount of nutrients, you can always balance that with what you're eating or supplementation like I do, to make sure that you're getting the right amount of nutrients. And, it's always a delicate balance, and it has to do with, the individual person, weights, heights. There's a lot of different ratios that go into it. And all I can talk about is my experience, but I haven't noticed any lack of energy. And my last physical exam, everything came back within range. So there was nothing that was over range or under range. And I'll be sure to update you guys on my next physical exam. But as for now, there wasn't anything that they found that was deficient or overly abundant, which are the ranges they look for. So that being said, that's where I'll end today's. If you guys have any more questions about the diet, absolutely let me know. If you want to know the brand names of the stuff that I'm on or that I've tried, just leave comments below and I'll reply to them. I just don't want to, like promote anything or not promote anything. I want to let people make their own decisions, just give some general guidelines as to what I use and what works for me. So again, thank you guys for watching. I'm up to, I think, 7 subscribers now. And another thing I want to mention is that this has to do with my goals again, is I had goal to reach 10 subscribers and still in the first week of February and I'm at 7 subscribers. Now, I'm really excited about that because there's not, it's a reinforcement to me, and it was a small goal I set for this month, but I'm 3 subscribers away from meeting that goal. That to me means a lot, and it's something I want to focus on the youth, is that you have to set these goals and make them realistic, and you'll see that they come true. You just have to make an effort every day towards your goal, which is what I'm doing with these videos. So I haven't quite figured out what I'm going to do tomorrow's talk about yet. Probably some interactions I've had over the last couple of days, and then we'll see where we go from there. But thank you guys again for watching. I apologize for the super long length of this video, but when it comes to diet, I think that it takes some time to properly discuss it and accurately reflect what it is that I'm doing, and so I don't misguide anybody. But thanks again for watching, guys, and I look forward to tomorrow's video.